Okay, good morning. This is the Mayor's update from Council meeting of Monday, June 23rd. As usual, I'll just roll through the agenda and then we'll talk about some upcoming events at the end and we'll be done. So the first thing we did was there's a couple of delegations that came, and the first one was from the Museum of the Highwood. David Moretta came and did an excellent presentation of their plans to expand the museum and everything. And that's a little bit of a rendering that David did. I think it's a heck of a rendering David did, but just showing what their future plans are for that museum. They need more storage. They would like a lot more exhibition space. This one actually shows with the rail dining car moved to the front as that's kind of the front piece of it, and the building basically built around that dining car. So it'd be a really cool atmosphere in there, and so you'll see lots more. This is a project that's probably 2 years away from being started, but it's really nice to see these guys with a real cool vision for one of the centerpieces downtown, and with all the changes that are going on down there. I love the concept drawing of the way this thing would look. So I'm really excited to hear more about how that will come to be, and they're putting the the financial plan and the just the whole build plan together. So a ways out, a lot of work to do on that one, but they got a great group over there, and I got all the confidence in the world that they'll get this done. Renew Committee. Jim Graham again came and just did an update. Jim takes care, he's the coordinator with the Renew groups and all the NGOs, and just gave us an update that there is still a lot of work to be done yet, but there's also we need to keep coming forward with the needs of this community, and I know the needs are out there, and these people are here to help us. They're doing everything from rebuilding homes to just cleaning your yard up. So these groups are still available in town, especially with it being summer. Now we can get some yard work done. So there's still 150 or plus people that show up every weekend. I saw them on the weekend just down the street from me, and just cleaning up one yard that weekend. And so we just keep going through this, and so if you need help, please just contact the Renew Committee and the Renew Group and the NGOs, and we can move this along a little quicker too. So next one was a bylaw amendment from R1 to DC 11. This has to do with the Oriana River House that's across from Spitzy School, that's now known as the Narrow Road Home. And all it does is, because it's a heritage home, we wanted some control as to how this all works together with the owner of that home. And so this was the right move for council, and actually the right move for the owner as well. So it's a total win-win. And this was just first reading on that bylaw. There will be a public hearing on July 21st at 3 p.m. for that, for second and third reading. So just pay attention to that if you're interested in coming and learning what Kimberly's doing with that place. It's a real cool thing for High River in my mind. So next one was just a bylaw, an IDP amendment. This is for some of these areas that in the south that we're looking to annex. This was one piece on a little 50-acre parcel. And all it's doing is moving it from agricultural transition lands to future annexation areas. So it's really just a housekeeping piece. The discussion that ensued after we made the first reading was the fact that that is a very unique piece of property, and we want to make sure that the right thing goes on that piece of property. And we've got a lot of annexed area around town and everything, so we've got to be careful as to exactly how we're doing things. So we do have some upcoming questions for the developers to exactly what we're doing over there now, and but just another thing we work through, and we'll get it figured out. The rate bylaws. So each year town of High River goes through all their rates, whether it be the rec center or your utilities, garbage pickup, sewer, all those kinds of things, and those rates are adjusted. So this one obviously is taking a little bit longer to get to than normal, so the rates are going to change, but it's really only for 4 months, and then we'll get back into the regular schedule of things. A couple of main ones that are going to take place: the water, sewer, and garbage utilities have not had an increase since 2010. So we are behind on that, and with the average of what other municipalities are paying. We're actually on the bottom end of that, so we've got to get caught up. So you'll see a 3% increase on all those, and what it actually means is about $2 a month maximum to each home. So not a real big one. It's just everybody's got to pay when people show up to pick your garbage up right at your front door like that. It's a sweet little service that we all pay for. So the other, a big one was actually, the biggest increase was actually with the cemetery, which I know quite well, and we have been on the low end of what we're doing out there. Secondary suites. A lot of discussion took place on that because, as everybody knows, a month or so ago we asked administration to go back and look at this secondary suite issue and come back with options as to what's our plan on this, because Councillor Moore talked about it, that we haven't been very fair to our residents on this, whether it be the person actually doing the development or the person that's living beside the development, and we haven't been very fair to ourselves as a council because there hasn't been any policies in place, and we just kind of make it up on the go, which is not a good idea. So that's why we kind of shut this down a month or so ago and asked admin to come back, and Sarah did an excellent job of looking across Canada different ways of how things are done. And a big problem it's a problem that we have a lot of illegal suites in this town, and the current process with this is somebody applies, we either approve or deny it, and lots of times if we deny it, they just go ahead and do it anyway, and there's very little we can do about it because we can't just go around town entering homes, and even if we could, there's not a lot that we can do to that home. So one thing that I think, and this hasn't all gone through, there's a lot of work to be done on this yet, but one thing that's come up that I really like is a licensing program with these suites, these secondary suites, and I look at it as I have to have a dog license, and I pay for that every year. So if we had a licensing program on these secondary suites, so that each year or two, however many years we decide, you have to come in and get your place approved, inspected. Yeah, you're okay, you're licensed, you're good to go, you pay your whatever the amount is, and you're on a list. And this is the thing that I love, because if you're on that approved conforming list, the people that are looking to rent your place can look at that list and say, okay, the town of High River has done the safety inspection and everything, I want to live there. If the place you're looking to rent is not on that list, I'd be very concerned as to how safe this place is. There was an incident in Calgary that's really brought this to the forefront, where I think it was 2 or 3 people were killed in a basement suite fire because it was not up to code. They could not get out of the windows. The windows were too small, etc., etc. I do not want that to happen in High River. So we've got to figure this out as to how we're doing this properly, and I like the licensing thing, because it'll make the people that have illegal suites, you're going to want to be on this list, so you got to get to be conforming with this thing. So it's a real big deal. It's one that there's no real structure to it anywhere in Canada, but we're big boys and girls. We can figure this out, and if we're the only ones that do it a certain way in Canada, I got no problem with that. We'll figure this out, and we'll come up with our own plan as to how we're going to deal with this. So a lot of work to do on that. High River Regional Air Show, Dana gave us a little briefing prior to the council meeting on the CAO, and just brought us a budget. You know, it's going to be about just over $100,000 to put this air show together, but there is revenue to be made on that, and could be profitable. Hopefully it will be, because any monies that we do profit from it, we want to give back to the community. New business, town representation for Lynham mediation. So this is on the Lynham Canal. There's a few issues over there with landowners, etc. So we've just designated Doug Holmes to take care of that. Doug has taken Rob Roycroft's position as Deputy CAO. And I'd like to thank Rob Roycroft for the amount of work that he did. When you look at the Sprung Temporary Park, he was instrumental in getting that running, and so many different things. It was always a pleasure to work with him and deal with things with Rob, because he's to the point, black and white, and very experienced in municipalities, and he protected this town on a few issues that we might have got ourselves in trouble with, but Rob protected us on those and gave us very good advice so we didn't get into a mess. So thanks very much to Rob for everything you did, buddy. Municipal reserve removal. This is just a housekeeping item. That's a strip of land in front of the museum and down the south side of the museum, and it's just housekeeping. Moving it from municipal, moving the municipal reserve designation from it. Parks renewal and recovery. A lot of discussion took place on this one, and this is a sensitive, kind of a sensitive thing, but it's not really, because High River is we're way behind the times in how we do some of our boulevards and all this thing. And we got into the program of everything had to be irrigated and everything had to be mowed. That's an extremely expensive program for this town, and one that every taxpayer pays a lot of money for, but it's not environmentally friendly at all, and it's not very smart on conserving water, which is a massive issue in any municipality, and we have to be better at that. So now that, because of the flood, and we've got to redo a lot of these things, they're all being reassessed, and you know, what areas do we want to have green and mowed, and what areas can just be naturalized more and still look good, don't get me wrong, but not running irrigation to absolutely everything. It's a big one is our storm ponds. There's Vista Mirage Park, the Montrose Storm Pond, and the Sunshine Storm Pond. Right now we mow these things right down to the water. And why? The difference is that it's very expensive to do that, and a storm pond is a storm pond. It's not a lake. We put names like lakes on them, Sunshine Lake and Highwood Lake. They're not lakes, they're storm ponds. When it pours rain or snow melt or anything, it's the streets that drain into these things. They're catch basins for street drainage. They're not lakes. So we want to keep them clean and nice and everything, but mowing them right down to the shoreline, I don't know about that. That's not the that's a lot of maintenance and a lot of labor and equipment and everything else that we're all paying for. And I said it yesterday in council that I thought before we went through with this, that there should be a little bit more public consultation in this. And one of those things that in High River we just don't have time sometimes. Things have to move fast. People want their places greened up and looking better. But so we made the decision to move on a lot of these things yesterday. But in my mind, around those ponds and the homes that live around those ponds, if those residents want it mowed right down to the water line and pristine and perfect, you should be paying for it. Because those of us that live nowhere near those ponds, there's my take on that. So we'll leave it at that. Okay, the upcoming events that are happening, of course, the Reboot High River concert, Monday, June 30th from 2 to 10 p.m. in George Lane. It's free. There's 8 bands, beer garden, and barbecue. Going to be a great day on June 30th, so make sure that you're there. Tuesday, July 1st from 12 to 4 in George Lane Park again. bands, live entertainment, games, more, fireworks. There's the Canada Day run in the morning, so if you want to get in at 5:10 or run the whole half marathon, it's just a fun thing to be a part of. You can walk the whole thing if you want, but it's just a really cool atmosphere down there the morning of Canada Day. So contact the AIM Society if you want to run or walk in that thing. It's just a nice morning to get out with everybody, and it's not a competitive thing at all. It's just have a great time, and then you get to enjoy the day from there on. So another big one, permanent siren system is in place now, and there's the one at the fire hall, an upgraded one. It's a new one at the fire hall, and then there's one down in that Riverside Drive area. I don't know exactly where it is, but they will be testing these sirens on Wednesday, July 16th at noon as part of the emergency preparedness program. These tests are going to happen quarterly, so we always want to make sure that these things work for any emergency that might come up, that could be at any point in time throughout the year. So just know that that's what's happening. There'll be a lot more communication that comes out about that. So other than that, again, you know how to get a hold of us. Everybody does, so we're good to go. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.